Status update on the Civic. I've actually been able to make a lot of progress, which I'm really happy about. I've installed a lot of parts. I have a few more that I want to put on the car in the next couple of weeks, but I am going to hit pause on doing any more installations until I take care of one problem that's been outstanding, since I've owned the car. It has never been registered, and every time I've tried, it fails emissions, and that's what's holding it back, is an emissions test. It fails the same way, which is nice, it's consistent. Basically, the problem is that it runs way too rich at idle, so it fails the idle RPM emissions test. It's almost going to pass, it's almost within spec. So I think I've taken care of all the problems that are associated with that. I had it retuned, the fuel maps have been leveled out, I've replaced the spark plug wires, a new distributor, and also an entirely new exhaust system with a brand new catalytic converter. So it has the best shot it's ever had at passing emissions right now. So this morning I went to the DMV, I got my temporary registration, so that's taken care of. I can drive the car on the street for 30 days, which is great. Next step is I just need to call my insurance, get the car put back on insurance, and then go and get the thing tested. And I am praying that it passes, because I want to drive this car so bad. I haven't been able to drive it since I've owned it. It's been in my driveway and I've driven it around my neighborhood, and that is it. I've barely been able to hit VTEC in this car. And it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. I've owned it for a year and I haven't been able to drive it. That's ridiculous. So today I'm going to get it going. So I did the DMV thing. I'm going to get the insurance on this afternoon. Then as soon as I get insurance cleared, I'm going to the emissions station. I'm getting the test. If there's a God in heaven, it will pass and I'll be able to drive this thing, which is going to be great. So, pray for me. I hope it's going to work. It's going to work. There's no way it's not going to work. It's definitely going to work. It's going to work. Today's the day. It's the moment of truth. I'm going to go get the Civic emission checked. Pray for me. Okay, today we're going to go and get this thing emission checked. And if it doesn't pass emissions, I'm going to be sorely disappointed, because I think I really do have all the bases covered. Well, we'll find out. This is nerve-wracking. All right, I'm parked just a few blocks away from Grease Monkey, where I'm going to get the emissions checked. I really hope it passes. It should pass. Everything that I've done to the car up to this point should ensure that it passes. So everything should be good to go, barring something that I don't know that's going on in the Civic, which at this point, I don't think there's anything, I can't think of anything that would keep it from passing emissions. That being said, I do have some contingency plans if the Civic fails. And we're going to talk about that after I get it checked. So if it fails, we're going to talk about this a little bit more. But all signs point to it's going to pass. So I'm just going to put that out there in the universe. This bad boy is going to pass today, and I'm going to be able to put plates on it and actually drive it. Okay, let's go face the Reaper. All right, I just got back. Good news, bad news situation. Good news is the first place I took it, it passes all the mechanical inspections, so no low idle, no check engine light. It'll pass. Bad news is they have to have verification of the header, which I've never heard of that before. I have aftermarket headers on there, of course, and they are saying they have to have the certificate that certifies that header is EPA approved, which I've never heard of that before. That sounds like some kind of bull. So then I went to another date. They told me there they couldn't pass because of the header, so they told me to go to a different place. So I went to a Big O Tire down the road, and they plugged it in the machine, and it runs a little rough on startup. I think I need to readjust my timing, but you know, they just like turned it on and then turned it off and came right back out. I was like, it's no way it's gonna pass because it's running so rough at idle, which I know is bullcrap because it passed at the first place I went. So this is frustrating. Like, I just want to get this freaking thing registered, and I keep getting the runaround. So I'm gonna try again tomorrow for the last time, and if it doesn't pass tomorrow, then we're gonna start talking about next steps and contingency plans, because I'm pretty much over it when it comes to registering this car. All right, we'll pick it up tomorrow. So I owe you an update. The last clip you just saw, the previous scene, that was a few days ago, about 4 days ago, maybe 5 days ago. And as you could tell, I was super frustrated. I tried to get the Civic registered, and it just, you know, for whatever reason, it wouldn't pass. All the mechanical things were working, it passed everything, all the emission stuff, it was fine, but it was a visual inspection of the header failed my registration, which sucks. And this is, you know, this is par for the course when it comes to project cars. You're going to run into problems that you just can't solve, and they become really frustrating. And that's kind of the point that I'm at with the Civic. Is I was really frustrated, and I'm honestly just kind of over it, of trying to do everything I can to get the car to be registered and to be able to actually drive it and enjoy it. I haven't been able to do that. So in the previous clip, I kind of gave an ultimatum, right? Like, if it doesn't get registered, we're going to talk about contingency plans. Well, now let's talk about some contingency plans, because as you can notice, the Civic's not parked there anymore because I sold the Civic. Yeah, that comes as kind of a shock, I know. And you know, I'll go into more depth in another video about why I ended up selling the Civic and the whole story of how it came about, because it sold really quick. I didn't even put it up for sale. It was a random encounter on Facebook Marketplace that, you know, a guy was looking for a Civic, and I told him what I had, and then he brought cash the next day. But anyway, we'll get into it in a different video. But so for right now, let's just talk about contingency plans, about moving forward with the channel and what's going to happen, because right now I don't have a project car. I have my Subaru and my minivan, and you know, don't think it hasn't crossed my mind to like turbocharge the minivan, because it crosses my mind a lot, but I can't do that because my wife won't let me. Anyway, I am on the hunt for a new project car. There's a few challenges though. So one, I'm going to up my price range on my next project car. The Miata and the Honda, they were both under $2,500 to purchase. So I'm just going to up my price range just a little bit. It's going to get me into a different tier of project car. You know, the Miata, there was a lot that I needed to do to get it to run. The Civic needed a lot of work to get it to run properly. I don't think I want to have a car that's that much work. I'm more interested in finding something that's running and driving, registered, clean title, and something I can just improve upon, not have to like do a bunch of work just to get it to a baseline. So I'm on the hunt. I have a few ideas of what I'm looking for. I'm not going to share those with you right now because I kind of want it to be a surprise, because YouTube, you know. But there'll be more on that shortly, I'm hoping. The other factor is, you know, I don't know if you can see the mountains behind me or my neighbor's bushes, but it's currently October in Utah, which means fall is coming, which really means winter is right around the corner. And winter in Utah is long, dark, cold, and snowy. And it's not fun to work on cars in the winter. And I don't work on cars in the winter. I park my projects and I don't touch them until spring. So there's not a real like impetus for me to go find a project car right away and get it into my driveway. If I don't find it in the next week or so, I'm just gonna wait until spring, and I'll get it in spring, and we'll start up again then. But that's the plan moving forward. I hope you enjoyed the Civic content. It was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy having that car. I learned a ton working through the problems on that Civic, and you know, it was just a fun car to work on. Civics are really easy to get your hands dirty and really understand the way that it works. So I can't recommend it enough. If you're looking for a project car, go find yourself a Miata or a Honda Civic. They're great. They're great cars to work on. So yeah, that's gonna be it for Civic. Keep your eyes peeled here. I'm gonna have a couple more videos coming out. One where I'll just discuss more about the sale of the Civic, why I decided to do it, how it all came about, and then hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have a new project car that we can talk about, or we're gonna have to wait a couple of months until spring, where we'll start digging into a new car. So it might be goodbye for a little while. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.